Good morning. As you've probably guessed, this week's going to be a little bit more chilled out than the last few weeks have been. We haven't really got a lot on, so it's just going to be a few days of pottering around the house. I'm also going to go through the books that I've read in July and any that I've got on my watch list for August. So if that sounds good to you, grab yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and let's chill out together. I've got a few plants that need repotting, and I've been putting it off for a little while. I don't know why. It's just one of those things, but once you start, it's fine. So I'm going to do those now. That took me ages to get out. Look how big the roots are. They look like bean sprouts. Honestly, I don't know whether I've killed it or not. I really hope not. Look, it's quite hardy though, so definitely needs a bigger pot. It'd split the pot inside the pot. So when I said the repotting was overdue, did I say that? Well, it is. There we go. He's all repotted. Whether he survives or not is a different matter. His name is Barnaby. Just a disclaimer, I'm as you probably guessed, no green fingered person. So all the other plants are probably quaking in their boots now, but who's up next? I think it's going to be Nellie. She's called Nellie because she's an elephant plant. So Nellie the elephant. Oh my lord, she definitely needs repotting. She's come out a lot easier than the last one, and her roots are intact. Nellie is done. That went better. Honestly, they say that repotting your plants is traumatic for them, but I'm a bit traumatised. So there she is, there's Nellie. She's looking a fine specimen. She was tiny when I bought her. Actually, I got her from Lidl for like £6 or something. And if you don't know, Lidl is like one of our cheapy supermarkets. Good, but cheap. And every plant I've ever got from there has done really well. For example, you didn't ask for this, but I'm showing you. £7 when I bought him. A lot smaller than that, but he's flourished. His name is Fatty, and that is because he's a Fatsia japonica. Look at my lovely flowers I bought myself yesterday. Sunflowers, and these are going to be they are gladiolis. So when they come out, my vision is that they're just going to flourish. And while we're on the plant tour, Rodney rubber plant. Rescued him from the reduced aisle in Tesco's, £3.50. Just wondering if you can make out the sea today. I can, but I don't know whether you can get it on here. Let me zoom in a bit. Yes, there it is. There it is. Last but not least, this one's name is Little Monster because it's a monstera plant and it's a mini one. So Little Monster. Another one. Look at the roots. Oh my goodness. Oh, I feel really bad. Here he is. Take him upstairs. Got quite a few male plants actually. Well, I've decided that they're male. I think it's only Nellie and We've got a palm downstairs called Pamela Anderson. The other girls here. Need a few more girl ones. To be fair, when I got Rodney, I had named him Annie after little orphan Annie because he was all on his own. But Steve insisted, stairs again, Steve insisted his name was Rodney, rubber plant, which I get. And he insisted so hard that it stuck. Sorry, Annie. And that concludes today's session of killing my plants. This was meant to be a calming video. I feel quite stressed out. Time for a nice cool drink or something. Water. Love it. Sherlock Holmes. Love him. I'm now going to cook us some dinner. I'm cooking Dr. Rupi's spaghetti from the book Dr. Rupi Cooks. I'm pescatarian, Steve isn't, but he really likes this recipe. It's made with tofu and it's so tasty. I'm not doing it with spaghetti because we had spaghetti the other night. I'm just looking at what pasta we've got, if you're wondering where, where I'm looking. I'll do that for tonight, something a bit healthier. Place your tofu in a baking tray and then shred with a fork just to get that nice mince-like texture. Once shredded, pop in the oven for 5 minutes to dry it out. Now add the following herbs and spices: cumin, smoked paprika, cinnamon, and plenty of oregano. Now add some seasoning, dark soy sauce, molasses or maple syrup. I'm using pomegranate molasses here, and some oil. Give it a good mix together. And then pop it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now it's time to get your sauce on the go. Heat your oil in a pan. Once hot, add your onions and garlic. Top off with a bit more seasoning and leave to soften for about 5 minutes. Once done, add tomato puree, tinned tomatoes and balsamic vinegar. Give it a good stir together and then pop the lid on and leave for about 20 minutes. It's nearly dinner time and all I've got to do is put the tofu into the sauce, cook some pasta which will also go into the sauce. I've chopped some basil up and that will also go into the sauce. The recipe does have spinach or like a green leafy thing in as well, but I've only got so much spinach and I need that for tomorrow and I'm not going out anywhere, so we're forgoing the spinach tonight, but it's going to be lovely. And this is what it looks like at the end. Smells amazing. Our local for a pint, which just happens to be this. very gorgeous. We're very lucky.
Cheers.
It's now Saturday morning and we're off to a friend's barbecue today at 1 o'clock. They're having a joint birthday celebration in their garden, and it's just around the corner, so that would be really handy. I'll try and film some of it, but yeah, I don't know how comfortable people will be with me filming, or that I'll be filming, but I'll try and get some of it. Hello, I'm getting all cozied up. Outside has gone from being like a summer's day, well, it is summer this morning, to autumn. It's really windy, it's started to rain, so I've got all the cozy vibes going on. So I thought while we were getting cozy, it'd be the perfect time to have a chat about books, what I've read in July and what I've got coming up in August, and things that are just on my watch list, and also comforting rereads. This is something that I do when I'm just yesterday and today. It might be the time in the month, but I've been feeling a bit anxious. So when I do feel like this, my go-to sort of remedy is to reread one of my really comforting reads. And you can tell we're approaching autumn because I'm getting all the Harry Potter vibes, and this is my favourite Harry Potter book, the third one, The Prisoner of Azkaban. And whenever I feel a little bit anxious, and I don't know why, and it's just like, you know, everybody feels like it sometimes, then these are the books that I go back to that just make me feel like I'm being given a big hug. I've also got Horlicks as my drink, which, if you don't know, is a malted milk bedtime drink, but it's from my childhood, and it just evokes such comfort that this is where I'm at today. Probably feel fine tomorrow. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you feel a bit more than you do at other times. So anyway, yes, let's cozy in and talk about July's books. So in July, I read 4 books. Well, nearly read 4 books. I actually did give up on one of them. If I'm not enjoying it, there's no point. So the book that I didn't quite finish, and I feel really bad because I really love this author and I love her other books, but it was the Light a Candle Society by Ruth Hogan. Her books, they invoke a sense of well-being, but some of them are also quite sad as well at the same time, but not so sad that they're like really seriously sad. And the well-being part of it outweighs the sad side. But this one just didn't hit right with me. So it's about somebody that witnesses a public service funeral because the deceased doesn't have any relatives or friends to go to it. So the council just do these funerals for people, and they feel really bad for that person. And so they start a society where they find out who is going to be next on the council's agenda for this kind of funeral, and they go and they light a candle to remember that person by. So it's a really nice premise. It is sad. You're given the case stories of each person that dies, and what led them to that, and parts of their life. So it's quite bittersweet, but I just couldn't get into it. It was all a bit twee for me, and her writing can be like that, but I've really enjoyed it in the past. Maybe it was just me in the mood I was in, I don't know, but I couldn't finish it. But that's not saying that you won't enjoy it, because her other books, Keeper of Lost Things, I absolutely loved. So it might just be me, but that was the one that I didn't finish this July. Next up was How to Survive a Horror Story. Again, I had really high hopes for this one, and I'd seen it recommended from a booktuber that I follow. I like a lot of horror, and she's a horror fan too. And again, it'd been described as like a sort of a Cluedo meets House of Usher, and it's about this group of authors that have to survive one night in a mansion, but one of them will be killed in each room. But the person that survives, well, they survive, but they also get other bonuses. But again, it was way too long for me. The characters, I didn't like characters, which I don't think you meant to, but not in a way that compelled me to carry on reading about them. I did, but I skim read a lot of it because I just got a bit bored. And then the payoff wasn't enough for me at the end. The conclusion of the story was, I thought, a bit weak. Sorry, but that's just my one opinion. Next up was Burial Rites. And again, this was recommended by that same booktuber. So I don't know whether to take any recommendations anymore. It was a good book, don't get me wrong. So it's about a woman in the 1600s, I think it was, that's accused of witchcraft. And it's her story living with a family in the lead up to the days where she's going to be hanged. Yes, all of these books are really joyful and cheerful. No wonder I'm feeling anxious. Writing is really good. The story is really good. But again, I found it a bit slow. It might just be the mood I'm in. I don't know, or maybe I'm choosing the wrong books for the time of year. Maybe these are more autumnal. But again, I was a little disappointed and did skim read again right towards the end just to think, where are we going with this? Well, we knew where we were going. There weren't any surprises really. It's my final one that makes up for the other three was Circe by Madeline Miller, and wow, what a book. What a book. I can't believe I didn't read it when it came out, because it was on everybody's handbags, on the beach, on holiday. It was everywhere. Sometimes it's like, if a book's too popular, it puts me off, which is silly. So anyway, I absolutely love this book. Circe is the daughter of Helios. I think that's how you say it. Helios, the sun god. And she is cast out and exiled on an island, and she basically is a witch. The storytelling in it, she's obviously a Greek mythology expert, because the way she tells the story, you can feel her passion for it in there, and it just had me hooked. She has done other books as well, and I will be reading them, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you have the slightest interest in Greek mythology, I used to love it when I was little, and it's kind of tapered off for some reason. I think there's a lot of badly written Greek mythology books out there, so this is a good one. If you get a chance, if you haven't read it, read it. We're now in August, and I've just started a book called Harvest, which I actually saw a trailer for because it's been made into a film, and it's a folk horror. It's that really sort of insular, claustrophobic kind of feeling. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through that. I'm really enjoying that at the moment, but I've had to stay with it, because I think if you just pick it up in dribs and drabs, you wouldn't get into it. So I think you need a good at least half hour of reading it at a time, and it's quite a short book, so you'll get through it quite quickly. So that's my first read of August. Today I got this book. I'm not vegan, but I am pescatarian, and I crave meat now and again, because it's not because I didn't like meat that I stopped eating meat. So this is a vegan lady on YouTube, Madeline Olivia, and she understands the cravings for meat that you get. So it's got like meatballs, it's got sticky ribs, it's nuggety type things, it's got butter chicken. Obviously none of it is meat. I'm going to make some of that, definitely for me, and a couple of the recipes Steve said, oh yes, I'll try that. Yes, I'll try that, in that voice. So you might see some of those being cooked in August. And that wraps up my little roundup of reads for this video. And normally, coming back to Harry Potter, I normally reread all of these in the autumn. The last time I did all of them was a couple of years ago, so I'm probably due, but I do still remember them quite well, so I might just read one or two over the autumn and winter period. But it's a must. It's a must for me. I think that might be it for this vlog as well. So once again, if you have stayed the distance, I know it's been a bit bitty, this one. Hopefully it has been a little bit relaxing, but if you have, I really appreciate it. And please like and subscribe. I hope to see you next week. It's carnival week this week in the town, so I'll be catching what it's like to live in a seaside town when carnival week is going on. Ciao ciao.